Okay, in the last video we didn't quite get finished with these prism practice problems, so let's start there. Let's start with the second prism practice problem, which is a triangular prism. So for this problem, you would choose the triangles on the top and the bottom, those faces, to be your base faces. So I have a right triangle base face. The legs are 6 and 8, and according to this segment down here, the hypotenuse is 10. The distance from triangular base face to triangular base face is 4, so that's going to be the height of the prism. Okay, so my formula is, again, surface area equals 2 times the area of the base face plus perimeter of the base face times the height. So the area of the base face, that is a triangle, so I've got to go back and look for my area of a triangle formula. And that's 1/2 the triangle's base times the triangle's height. So 6 is the triangle's base and 8 is the triangle's height. So we do 1/2 times 6 times 8 and get 24 for the area of the base face. Perimeter is the distance around the triangle base face, so 8 plus 6 plus 10. And that also gives me 24. And now I'm ready to find the surface area. So the surface area is equal to 2 times the area of the base face, that's capital B, so that's 24, plus perimeter, it's also 24, times the height. If you go back to the picture, that is 4. So in my calculator, 2 times 24 plus 24 times 4 is 144 centimeters squared. There's your surface area. Okay, volume. Volume formula is area of the base face times the height. And those values we already know. Here's the area of the base face. The height is 4. So that's 24 times 4, which is 96 centimeters cubed. Alright, let's look at the last prism problem now. So the last prism problem is a pentagonal prism. We're going to have to do a little bit work to get the area of the base face this time. So here's your base face. I think on the practice problems, I think most of the apophthegms are actually given to you. Yes, they are. So we're going to have to do a little bit more work here than we would normally have to do, but that's okay. So here's your pentagon, and the side lengths are 8 all the way around, and we need to know the apothem. So we're going to have to do a little trig there. So to solve for theta, that angle up on the top, take 360 divided by 10, 2n, and we get 36 degrees. So this is 36 degrees and this is 4. So I will use the tangent of 36 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. And when I solve that, I'll end up doing 4 divided by the tangent of 36 degrees. So the apothem is 5.51. Okay, so now the surface area formula is still 2 times area of the base face plus perimeter of the base face times the height. Okay, so we'll start with capital B, area of the base face. What shape is it? It's a regular pentagon, so we do 1/2 its perimeter times the apothem. So that's 1/2. The perimeter is 8 times 5. There's 5 sides to that pentagon. They're each 8. And then the apothem we found was 5.51. So 1/2 times 8 times 5 times 5.51 gives us an area of the base face of 110.2. Perimeter of the base face we need to know is 8 times 5, that's 40. And then the height, the distance from the top to the bottom base face, is 20. So now I'm ready to plug into my formula. So surface area equals 2 times area of the base face is 110.2 plus the perimeter times the height. So 2 times 110.2 added to 40 times 20 will give us a surface area of 1020.4. Volume is area of the base face, 110.2, times the height, and that's 20. So 110.2 times the height gives us a volume of 2,204. And there were no units given, so we'll just say units squared and units cubed on our two answers. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to cylinders. So if you skip to the cylinders page at this point, with the cylinder we need to know the radius of the base face, which is a circle, and we need to know the height, so that's the distance between those two circular bases. Technically we could use 2 times the area of the base face and then add the perimeter of the base face multiplied by the height, but we change up this formula a little bit because the face of the base face does not change its shape. It's always a circle. So the area of a circle would go in right there, which is pi times radius squared, and then the perimeter would go right here. Perimeter of a circle is circumference, so that's 2 times pi times the radius. So we have pretty much the same formula, but we just stick the formula for circles in because we don't change the shape of the base face. So same thing with volume. Area of the base face times height would be pi r squared times height, because pi r squared would be the area of that circular base face. Okay, there's our two formulas. Let's go ahead and practice right here. So the surface area equals 2 times pi r squared plus 2 times pi r height. All I need to know is the radius is 3 and the height of the cylinder is 5. So surface area equals 2 times pi times the radius squared plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height. So my calculator, 2 times pi times the radius squared plus 2 times pi times 3 times 5. And I get a surface area of 150.8 inches squared. Volume is area of the base face, so pi r squared times the height, which is 5. So we just do pi times the radius squared, times the height. Alright, and we get a volume of 141.37 inches cubed. Okay, so that's all you would have to do for the cylinders. Alright, now, you're going to do the homework now. You're going to do the 11-1 practice set. And on the 11-1 practice set, you're going to draw a base face next to each of the problems and put the measurement on it. I promise you this will make it so much easier to figure out, because if, as you just saw, you only had to look at the base face for the majority of the formula. You only had to go back to the actual shape, the solid, when you looked for the height. Okay, then write the formula. So we're just getting practice writing the formula. Okay, then find each variable, the value for each variable, substitute into the formula, and solve. Okay, if you follow those steps, you will be much more successful on this than just trying to say, I don't know how to do it. And when you're finished, the answers are, you can find some solutions also on Schoology that might help you out a little bit. You have to scroll through the blank copy to get to the answer copy. Alright, have this finished for Monday.